What's up, everybody? I've been getting quite a few people lately saying Hatchet needs a nerf this patch, Hatchet OP, stuff like that. But honestly, I kind of hope it does get a nerf just because I like playing off-meta builds, so it's no fun for me when my favorite weapon is the meta. But it did give me the idea to put together a build that I think could definitely use a few nerfs, specifically heavy sword and shield. So, did a little bit of a different video than normal. Started off with a couple 1vx clips, like our normal videos, but then I went into just a very long fight sequence, most of an entire match. It was just a very short match. But that way I could talk over basically my thought process during the fight, and some people had asked for basically talk about how I counter certain things, what I look for when I'm fighting, like 1vx, that kind of stuff. So we'll go over that, and then ending the combat portion of the video with some 1v1 clips, basically just showing the kill potential of the build, because even though I'm heavy armor with Blood Drinker on, you can still do pretty considerable damage to most players. I'll end the video with a quick build guide for how I actually built it with pieces I had laying around for the most part, and what I would change if I were going to like try to make this like my actual like full-time normal build. So for this guy here, he tries to get us with a net shot and starts throwing out traps. Clearly he wants to stay as far away as he possibly can. So we're not dealing with that crap. We just start hitting him with Inferno until he tries to run out the door. We didn't have anything available to guarantee our upheaval, so basically you just want to start light attacking, trying to force out a dodge. Most people aren't going to spend 2 dodges back to back, so way more likely to actually land it if you can bait out a dodge and then go for upheaval. Because if you didn't know, if you land Shield Rush, the stagger on Shield Rush is long enough to guarantee you land upheaval. But if you don't have any staggers available, you basically want to try to light attack until they dodge, or you think they're probably not going to dodge. Maybe they're already out of stand. But this guy here, Blunderbuss, clearly using aimbot. It is what it is. We see his Phoenix Amulet proc and kind of just let that kill him. We stand there and block for a second until he goes down. No need for us to take extra damage. This guy is playing hatchet and sword, so we know he's mostly slash except for his Ellie split, and we have just an ungodly amount of slash resist, so he's not really doing a whole lot to us. This person respawned already. We know they're super squishy. Our main goal here is to try and take down the damn beacon so we can take this point over, but they should only take a second to take down again. Now that most of the squishies are out of here, we can focus back on the beacon. We already know this guy doesn't do a ton of damage, but if he is running Shipwrecker, then we can't just let him attack us in the back for free, because he would just get a ton of armor penetration on us. We chunk him for a good bit here. I think maybe that's enough to scare him off. But these guys are just staying right on top of me. They got me tethered. I hate tethered. And we got the beacon down, so that's good enough to at least try and escape for a second and hit a reset. So this is the longer clip that I was talking about. It's most of an entire match because it was a pretty short match overall. So I'll do my best to explain what I'm going for. Play this build quite a bit different than I would play my normal medium build. Trying my best to be basically our frontline presence. See some people shooting me off to the side, so basically just turn and block at least one attack. Just enough to proc our free 20% fortification that we get from the sword and shield skill tree, and then I pop the mana potion on top of that for another 20% fortification. But we see this healer off to the side, free casting, so he's basically priority number 1, because as long as he's healing people, I'm not going to be able to get many kills. Get most of the combo on him. Surprisingly, a couple people are attacking us even though they're like 1 HP instead of running. If I was on my normal build, 100% they'd both be dead by now, but this build lacks for damage a little bit, especially if people stack slash resistance. And since we're basically the frontline presence, we're just constantly getting hit with every CC everybody has available, but we're not losing sight of the people that are already low, because I know at a minimum, at least he doesn't have his potion available. But these guys are doing the best they can to just peel us off of him. So once he's basically fully recovered, we start looking for a new target. I see a squishy looking mage there, but this dude literally has heal in his name, so he's priority number one. A lot of times we're not going to be able to take down healers by ourselves just because we don't have any disease on this build. But we do get that guy down, and might as well team up with this guy just to help him finish his kill off here quick. At this point, we have him 3-capped, but if you can just go max emotional damage, 3-cap somebody and push them the whole way back to their spawn, a lot of people will just quit. So if I can end this match as fast as possible and still get full credit, that's what I'm going to go for. I get tethered here. I hate tether. I hate void gauntlet. We run away far enough to break the tether, just so we don't have that 20% weaken on us. If you watched my last build guide, Life Taker is literally the #1 reason I started running max stacks of Invigorated, in addition to running Gen Head Wrap sometimes, just because of the every debuff it has. It has weaken, disease, endless amounts of rend, but at this point I'm starting to feel like I'm kind of alone up here, so start retreating as I'm fighting, and as soon as I go for the full reset, I realize, oh, team actually is behind me. They're just not pushing up very quickly. So we go back into the fight here, and basically if I start attacking somebody and I realize I'm doing like piddly ass damage, I'll just switch focus to somebody else. And if I see somebody just free casting heals, that's like an auto forget whatever I was doing. I need to kill the healer. So try to focus this guy down best we can. Again, this build is not designed to kill healers, but it's just very important to kind of turn the fight to get them out of there. But if you can manage to burst down a squishy player, like I'm going for this Dex guy here, it's also good to just get rid of them as quick as you can. But at this point, the team has completely retreated, left us behind. Luckily, we are just tanky as hell, so we also are haste cap for a second there, because this sword has keen speed on it. It's definitely not what I would recommend putting on it, but this is what I had laying around. Again, we use Inferno to just engage in the fight here with burnout. We don't really do a lot of damage with our Inferno. We mostly use it to finish off people that are running away. They're like 1 HP, and burnout is just very good for a heavy player to kind of just enter the fight, just get in without taking a ton of damage, just burn out through anybody that might be standing near the door. Starting to feel pretty lonely in there, so come out, see if I can get a heal. Happy to see they have a sacred ground standing under the feet of all the ranged players instead of inside helping our whole 2 melee players that we have on the team, actually trying to control the points. A big part of trying to 1vx is just target selection. I see a kind of squishy looking Dex off in the corner, so I try to focus him for a second. No idea how that pillar missed, but as soon as I get tether on me, trying to run away and get that the hell off of me. The 20% weaken on top of my build already not hitting super hard is just bad news. So run back in for a second, try to re-engage, think maybe we'll get some help, and as soon as I do, I'm basically down to half HP almost instantly. So quick reset and burn out back in, and immediately go for the squishy looking mage from earlier. Try to hit him with a full combo, get him kind of weak. Think maybe somebody, one of the 18 range players outside will finish him off, but he's fully recovered. So at this point, everybody in here is looking at me. I kind of need to get the hell out. Shield rush, slow everybody, weaken them, give ourselves a ton of fortify. We can't just fight with our back to them though, because a lot of melee players run penetrating backstab. But Upheaval has grit, so we throw that out to get a bunch of free lifesteal in addition to Dark Ascent. No idea why I tried to hit burnout there. Terrible idea. But I'm getting hit with so many damn CCs that my game starts having just a fucking stroke. And at this point, I've pretty much given up all hope on the team actually helping me, so I've pretty much decided I'm just going to fight outside and try to kill any squishy looking players until Baron comes up, and we'll just have to win this match with 2 points instead of going for the full 3 cap. But I see a Rapier, Greatsword, a Light Armor Dex player. He's probably pretty squishy, I'm imagining, so go for him first, and next thing you know, somehow I'm back in another 1vx style fight. But we hit this guy with the combo, and he is super weak, and the sword and shield tracking is so OP, it actually screws me over there. It tracked to somebody I didn't want to hit instead of the guy that was about to die. Use burnout again to re-engage the clump. At this point, I'm trying to just get the attention of their backline and draw them back towards me. Like, I'm trying to create space so my team basically has no choice but to walk forward, because a lot of people just, for some reason, I don't know, they get about 20 feet away from the enemy and they just stop right there, and that's where they choose to fight. So I'm trying to basically bait as many people back towards me as I can, to try and just get them back to their home base, keep them away from mid. That way I can go Baron soon, not have to worry about them being there. I see somebody low. I think maybe I can take him down quick and force people to try and peel for him. But somebody ends up sniping this kill anyway, but we at least get that guy down. As soon as I start attacking this guy and realize he's a heavy player, they immediately lose interest. I see a healer. I'm just not going to waste time attacking another heavy player. It'll take me all day to kill that guy in this build. I see that guy throw a Sacred on his feet. Not dealing with that either. And the team's finally in here with us. We only have 6 kills at this point, which, if I was doing this much fighting on my normal build, I'd be pretty upset if I only had 6 kills, but it's really not what I designed this build for. So it's not too bad. As soon as this guy screams us, we immediately switch back to our sword and shield, because you can stand there and block way longer than you can spam dodge without running out of stamina. So always better to block if you can with sword and shield or greatsword, flail, any of them. But on my way down here, I just stopped by Baron just to make sure nobody was trying to steal it and prolong this match any more than it needs to. Killed one guy that was in there, and now I'm just basically just trying to take this point, even though we don't really need it, just to speed this match along. And this was basically the only thing really interesting left in this match at this point. This guy was back here trying to help me cap it, and I realized he's basically getting dove. They gave up on trying to kill me, so I try to peel for him, but I get there a little bit too late. But my main priority is just getting the damn beacon down, and don't ask me why I wasted that Dark Ascent there. No idea why I used that, but it is what it is. We held him off long enough that reinforcements have arrived, and we eventually end up winning this match. So, go on to basically a couple clips of just bursting people down with the full combo slash showing how to play this build in a 1v1, and then we'll go into the build guide a little bit. But this guy makes the mistake of stamming himself, so I guarantee my heavy attack has 30% in power, and he's not going to recover stam fast enough before I can get off shield rush, and then shield rush guarantees the upheaval. So as soon as he stammed himself, like, that's a big no-no, especially against weapons that can combo things together, like sword and shield or spear, anything that has any kind of CC really. We don't use the Inferno much, but this guy has just like no fire resist, so that's really all we needed to finish the fight there. For this fight, more traditional, just using Inferno to engage, try and burn out right into their face, just to take as little damage as possible while closing the gap. This poor guy never stood a chance, but just wanted to show like you can still hit people just stupidly hard with this build. It's kind of broken, honestly. Really wish they would nerf tower shield builds. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to yell at me in the comments if you didn't and you just want to see more of the usual 1vx type stuff. But See you guys in a second. Alright, so we'll go over the build super quick. You can recreate this build using almost 100% name pieces. The artifact armor piece, void dark plate again, with slash conditioning on it. We didn't talk about slash conditioning last time, so this counts as absorption. Same thing as your gems, same thing as the protection on your amulet. We talked about this before, it's way more important than just armor because this is a flat damage reduction. So slash conditioning is just really nice to have, saves you from having to incorporate that in your gems. The frigid dawn pieces, basically just craft these over and over at the gypsum kiln. A whole bunch of different frigid dawn pieces with different perks on there. It comes with enchanted ward and elemental aversion. It's the only way to get these two perks together is to get it from this set. So we have that for the helmet, the gloves, and the boots. The only one that's different is the pants. We have empowering leaping strike on there, just so we don't have to have it on the sword, because it's still 19% extra damage instead of 30 or 33, whatever it is on the sword itself. But for something that's only single target and it only lasts 3 seconds, I would rather just have it on the armor. The shield, always want fortifying shield rush on your shield if you can get it, because that 30% or 35% fortification, you can stack multiple times if you hit multiple people with your shield rush. So if I got 2 people attacking me at the same time, I throw out shield rush just to open up the fight. I already have 70% extra armor right off the bat, on top of just already being stupidly tanky. If you can get some kind of shield ward, this is also absorption. And enchanted ward is nice to have, but there's a PvP only perk called sturdy fortification. It gives you an extra 5% fortification for every attack you block. And this comes on every tower shield. It's basically just a free 5% base damage reduction to just everything. The amulet, there's no reason to run my normal amulet with shirking and power, because we're just basically at empower cap just all the time. So stamina recovery, even though it got nerfed, it's still just nice to have. I always run divine because it boosts so many different things, especially with blood drinker. It boosts your potions, it boosts any incoming healing you get from life staff players, and protection is just like must have on your amulet. Blood drinker, we still have slash damage on there just for 7% in power on our sword. And earring still the same. Regenerating, this is boosted by divine as well. Healing heart, also same thing. Right off the bat, as soon as we hit dark ascent, without even hitting anybody, we get 11% of our health back. Dark ascent, still didn't upgrade this stupid thing, but we run the version that just hits as hard as possible, and they all leech all the damage you do. But the reason we run fortifying toast is because we're already, I don't think that's even right. I might be bugged right now. That's weird. I don't think I'm supposed to be 3600 armor. I'll have to look into that. But 3600 physical armor, and as soon as I pop a mana potion, I'm now 4300 physical armor, so just stupid amount of armor. But you can have almost 100% uptime on this because it's only 2 seconds in between when it's not up versus when you'd be able to proc it again. So just super strong, especially in heavy builds. Also good for medium. The sword, this is just a sword I had. I always run Moonstone without a rune glass on swords because of Blood Drinker. As soon as we hit so if we do the combo for Leaping Strike, Heavy Attack, Shield Rush into Upheaval, as soon as we hit the button for Upheaval, it's getting a 20% damage boost. And then Sword and Shield has very long cooldowns compared to a lot of weapons. So you're going to spend a lot of time just light attacking and heavy attacking with all of your crap on cooldown. So Moonstone is just very good for sword. If you play like similar to this playstyle with just one melee weapon. But definitely recommend Penetrating Backstab, and Vicious is also very good. Enchanted is okay on sword. Keen Speed's alright, but I would definitely rather this be like the new Penetrating the Empower perk or Play Crits. Anything like that would be much better proc type perk to have. Finally fixed my Inferno. I just put Fireball on it again. And an Onyx, because a lot of times I'm using this just to open up the fight. Like as soon as I go in, I burn out right at whoever I'm about to fight, throw a fireball at their feet, throw a pillar at their feet, and then switch to my sword and shield. So a lot of times when I'm on my fire staff, they are pretty close to full health most of the time. I forgot I was going to say, for sword I would recommend, like the sword you can get from the island, like not from the chests, from the list of just named swords. The one you can just buy with doubloons, I would pretty much just buy that and put Penetrating Backstab on it. Like if I was going to actually keep playing Sword and Shield a lot, because that one's already very good. It has the Penetrating Empowered and Vicious, and as soon as you upgrade it with Penetrating Backstab on it, it'd be 725. So that'd be the way I would go for that. For attributes, you want at least 200 con, 50 dexterity, and then everything else into strength. So depending what your gear score is, this will be a little bit different. But definitely at least want to hit these two thresholds, and then you should have enough to at least get over 350. Part of what makes Sword and Shield so strong is the passive skill tree, and in hindsight, I probably should have dropped this one, the only getting Rend for 2 seconds, to take this one, because a lot of times if I leaping strike somebody and they're not ready for it, and if I can just kind of combo staggers together and end up with upheaval at the end, this would have been way more value. So I'll probably end up switching from the Rend to this one. But other than that, the extra crit chance is nice, and you definitely want this one because this doesn't have a cooldown. So you just heavy attack and you get basically a berserk and a half worth of extra damage. Extra armor, no brainer. Basically a couple pieces of elemental aversion, except it doesn't have to be ranged. Like I feel like it should be a no-brainer as well. We are taking Fortifying Shield Rush, so Shield Rush is just really nice because it has grit and staggers. We can combo it with upheaval, but also when we're like in the middle of the clump, it puts a pretty decent weaken on everybody within 5 meters, whether you make contact with them or not, which is also kind of dumb. I feel like it should only be the people you hit, but it is what it is. And it also puts a slow on the people you hit. I was talking about this for a second in the video. You only have to block one attack, and you just get a free Void Darkblade extra damage worth, or extra fortification worth on you for 5 seconds. And there's no cooldown on this either. It also comes with built-in Keen Speed. No cooldown on this. So a lot of things on the sword tree are just very strong, and they basically completely reworked this. This is just, with the tower shield version of this is incredibly strong. So the worst part of this whole thing is I'm not even running the strongest ability on this entire tree. Like an extra 50% base damage reduction that also gets extended anytime you're hit or block a hit. That's just very powerful. But to take everything else I want to get to, I can't take the recuperation perk, which I used to always take, because it's basically just another free divine just built into your skill tree. I don't take either one of the basically sturdy perks because I don't block very often. Basically just block when it's absolutely necessary and then go right back to attacking. My fire staff tree, nothing really changed here. The only thing I really say is if you're playing the strength version of the build, don't bother with this one. You might have saw in the video, your smolder ticks only tick for like 20 damage or less, depending who you're hitting, so it's really nothing. It's not worth them lasting longer. Doesn't really do anything for you, so might as well take something else just to get extra damage. Pretty much all the passives or extra cooldown reduction. But I tried to keep this one a little bit shorter, but hopefully I didn't miss anything. If I did, feel free, ask questions in the comments, and I try to respond to everybody. And I'll see you guys in Outpost Rush.